to Visiting Hours. I'm your host, Greg Olzerowitz. Well, if you're seeing this, then almost certainly you are a VOD enjoyer. Thank you for tuning into the stream, VOD. I'm going to offer a few words, then I'll spend a few minutes getting announcements and notifications out so folks can know the stream is on. But this was filmed? Is that the right word? Streamed? Live on Thursday night, going live at around 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that's about when I'm generally streaming every single week. So, hope you'll tune in again and join the chat. It's been a busy week, and it's been characterized by many things in my life. An upsurge in the socials as I've been trying to learn how to market and present myself, learning all about YouTube Shorts and Instagram Reels and the like, and doing a bit of what felt like fart sniffing, really. Essentially listening to myself talk a whole bunch, and I'm recognizing that in order to market yourself on the internet, you kind of have to, well, proceed as though your farts don't stink. So that's what we're doing. Falco, how you doing, buddy? I just offered a little introduction for the VOD watchers. You're about to start driving, you won't be able to reply, but you got pulled up on your phone to listen. Excellent, brother. Well, I hope you have a pleasant drive. And yeah, don't look at the phone. Be safe. I'm going to get some notifications out so that people know we're streaming. And then we'll see what there is to talk about this week. There is to chop up. Turn the music up a little bit while I'm just sitting here silent. Enjoy a little bit of Elder Scrolls Oblivion soundtrack. Should I be doing go live notifications on Blue Sky and Twitter? I'm not sure. I'm not really sure how to use those platforms well. I need to do a little more work and research on that. Well, we'll err on the side of volume. Put out the word. Maybe a happy medium would be like putting out the tweet when the go live starts, but then deleting it afterwards so it doesn't fill up the feed. I don't know, maybe it's a little bit like having your cake and eating it too. Okay. Blue sky. Oops. Yeah, I guess 1 hour's fine. We're rocking on blue sky. We're rocking on Twitter. Okay, anywhere else I should be spamming, folks? Probably not. No, really interesting experiment would be to let folks on my Facebook page know. So yeah, it's been a busy week. I have been trying to figure out, now that I've sort of got some consistency, some early consistency in what it is that I'm delivering in these videos and kind of the Substack articles. The challenge I issued myself earlier this week was, well, how can we get the word out and get more people connected to what we're trying to do here? And so let's do a little show and tell. Let's show you all what it is I've been trying. Hopefully y'all don't mind me using my strange aspect ratio monitor here. All right, so the thing that I recognized is that most of what I do on in terms of video work is long form, either the old podcasts or these newer videos. Even like a 5-minute video is kind of like a long form. And I've known, especially because I've fallen into it many times myself, that short form stuff like YouTube Shorts, TikToks, Instagram Reels, is an opportunity for what I do. And there's plenty of interesting things that we get to talk about and discuss. And a few years ago, when I was trying to get the word out about my stuff, I came up against this opportunity for shorts, and I sort of bounced off of it because it was just such an overwhelming amount of work and editing to do. But now there are these just excellent AI tools that exist. Showing one of them here, where you can just take some content, load it up, and it'll go through and like tell you, hey, here's where we think your good moments are that could be shorts, and pull them together. So I've taken these and started putting them back out. So if you go to my channel here, this might all be too zoomed out for people to see. But now we have stuff filling up in the shorts. You can see one of the ones I published today, which links back to the testosterone video we published earlier this week, is alone in an empty room, and pulled in like 5 times as many views. Of course, it's less stuff and has probably less click-through, but I think it's pretty exciting, actually. So we got the YouTube Shorts going. Also set up a... Well, let's Okay, I'll see my personal Facebook here for a second. It's not going to hurt anybody. It's mostly just barbershop singers. And here we have a new Facebook page that we set up. Because I know a lot of people on Facebook, a lot of barbershop folks, and I want them to know that I'm doing stuff and have the ability to see what it is I'm doing, but without, spamming them and filling up their feed and having to make them choose between being a friend to me personally and being connected versus like receiving the onslaught of my marketing push. Oh, did I publish these reels in a different order on Facebook than I did on YouTube? I think I did. Here, let's have a listen to this. That is to say, getting up and starting the day. Seems like the goalposts keep getting moved on us. They talk about how if you want to get things done, you got to get started early. This is, of course, the case. It's an easy one to make, hard one to do. The thing that nobody says that I've found as I've started doing this, that is to say, getting up and starting the day first thing, before anyone's looking to me for anything, to do something that I've chosen, is it starting the day on my own terms, as me. There's something that happens when we begin our day reactively. I've got to get up, get to work, take the kids to school. I've got to make breakfast for family. I've got to get ready for my first meeting, or whatever obligation from the outside world takes us. I've lived in this state my whole life, and it's only been in recent days that I've begun to uncover this wonder of beginning things when no one's looking, in the dark, and starting the day as myself. And that's the biggest outcome that I have noticed, which is that as a result, getting myself up and out early, from the very beginning, I am myself. And as I go into the day, I am calmer, more collected, more, yes, myself. Seems like that. So that's the one we published today. They should be stacking up, I think. Where do they collect? I don't even know. But they get cross-posted to Instagram. I now have an Instagram. Yeah, here they are. Someone liked my reel who I don't even recognize. Small miracle of that. Now, last I checked, my TikToks had 0 views. I think maybe I'm doing TikTok wrong. I think there's a pretty good chance that I'm basically clueless where it's concerned. If I come here, analytics, 0 video views, 0 profile views. It's like I don't even exist. I am putting stuff here, right? I'm not imagining it. Yeah, here we go. It's here, it's visible. Does it work? Yeah. I'm my own first view. Okay. Well, my live content sparks comments. Keep the momentum going. Live studio makes going live on TikTok. Wow, is that a thing people do? Anyway, that's the fart sniffing. Got new content coming out next week. It's already queued up. I've I'm thinking about potentially setting up a basic membership tier on YouTube and and letting stuff go to members a few days early. I think what that'll look like probably is um, what that'll look like probably is Tech Man figures out tech. Story of my life. Story of my life, Lex. I think what it'll look like for the members only stuff is I did a little bit of research to try to optimize when my videos are getting published during the week so that they can maximize eyeballs in return. And right now I'm trying to get out my kind of more serious YouTube video of the week on Tuesdays. So it has a lot of prime time weekday time for folks to chew on it. Getting out my walk and talk on Thursdays, getting out my Substack article on Sundays. I think the walk and talk and the serious YouTube video, I always make them the week ahead. So I can just put them out to anyone who wants to have a channel membership, um, like on Monday or something. So I'll probably do that. But yeah, I'm sort of understanding something. I stumbled upon this guy's channel. Really beautiful thumbnail, really beautifully recorded, and just great looking video. Um, and he was talking about what it means to come to YouTube as a place to sort of establish yourself, be like an entrepreneur, kind of launch yourself and support yourself with it. And it was a really kind of inspiring message and kind of interesting. I looked at all his other content, and it was all YouTube content about how to be good at YouTube, which I'm beginning to sympathize with because if you have any success, even a small amount of success on these social media platforms, you have to just learn how to play a game, basically. And by the time you've learned it and you've gotten yourself on camera, it's like, okay, this is something that I know that others don't, and I might as well teach it. So I'm sort of understanding the draw of this very funny thing where there's a large amount of people who seem to be making their entire online presence about helping others form an online presence. A little bit of a snake eating its own tail. How are you, Lex? Tell me something interesting or painful about your week, if you like. Hmm. One of the things I like is that with the new wave of the new wave of flatulence in terms of shorts, the amount of extra traffic to my channel has meant that there's a bunch of the people dropping comments and responding to stuff. It feels really good to have that energy exchange. This would be a great time for someone to say something in the chat to reinforce my point if they so desired. Falco, if you're there, keep your eyes on the road, brother. But Lex, come on, man, give me something to work with. Hmm. Well, I guess I can just talk. I do have this gift or this curse. I'm a little tired today. Actually, I'm a lot tired today because I've only got a handful of hours sleep the last couple nights. Right now, I'm because I'm between jobs. I'm going a little hard. Ooh, we did get a nice juicy comment there. Let's have a look at that. I'm going kind of hard on my barbershop singing hobby as well as this YouTube stuff. So, two different groups. One rehearses on Tuesday night, other on Wednesday night. Both go to a bar and hang out afterwards. So it's just, it's a lot. It's a lot. All good, but a lot. Lex says changing jobs had an in with someone you know from almost 20 years ago. 3 interviews last week, conditional offer this week. 25 items on a to-do list for 36 hours of time. Drug test, vision, hearing yesterday, strength conditioning test, fingerprinting tomorrow, 2-hour drive. So a conditional offer means like passing these screens and these tests, I'm supposing. Oh. Why the change? Is it a voluntary change, or is it a little more of the involuntary flavor, like the change I'm going through? In my own news, I booked a couple of interviews um, already, which is kind of fast. Uh, they didn't come at me this fast last time I was looking for work. It's kind of exciting. There's a part of me that hopes that the next thing doesn't arrive too fast. It's good to have time to take a deep breath between things. Kai! Just listening in at the moment, making coffee, getting some food. Hello, Kai. Kai, getting coffee, making food. Is it morning time for you? What time is it in the Upside Down? 12:38 p.m. Oh, it's lunchtime for you. Lunchtime tomorrow. Getting into the weekend. Writings on the wall for the company where you work. Maybe you have a month left. 70 people in September, down to 13. Yeah. It's good to read the writing on the wall. That's something you get. I guess it's something that happens to us all. Just thinking about that, because that's certainly the experience I had the last couple of months in the job that I departed from. It was very clear there was something that wasn't really working. Now the company's still ticking along for now, but that's the kind of thing that can make a person cynical, I think, if they're not intentional about choosing what they derive from what they read on the wall. Kai, when you get back, you gotta let us know what you made. Lex, the signs are always there. You just have to be open to reading them. Amen, brother. Amen. You know, that's actually, oh my God, I'm just like pure fart sniffing today. I'm so up my own. Easter? I'm trying not to swear, to be friendly. But I wrote a Substack article a couple weeks ago that was kind of about that very idea, called Beyond Reason. Reading the writing on the wall. I don't know. My writing styles, I'm sure, not for everybody. Well, maybe it's a little more surreal than the sort of pattern recognition that we're talking about. Sit in the uncomfortable and face it. Amen, brother. How much of life is that, right? How much of life is just resisting a desire to coalesce an anxiety into a certainty? How much of our lives could be better if we just tolerated uncertainty a little bit better? That's real stuff. You know, I'm really happy with how the stream looks. I wonder, I'm paying a little extra to Comcast for a little bit more upstream. I don't know what the internet situation will be like at my new place. I hope it's just as good. Economy, hello. Welcome to Visiting Hours. Come on in. We're having coffee. Kai's having coffee at noon his time. I'm having coffee at 6 p.m. my time. I feel that I'm in a stage in life where I'm almost immune to caffeine, which would suggest that I probably could discard it. But nevertheless, willingness to act. That's right. That's right. If we tolerate uncertainty, but we don't act, then I suppose I was directly linking those two ideas. To me, they seem intrinsically linked. Like the action is a tolerance of uncertainty itself, because action is we only get to control what we put into our actions, not what comes out of them. Like kind of me having a beer. You're in Europe, all right. What's your pleasure? What do you drink? I'm trying to remember. Most recently, my last trip across the pond was in April last year. My girlfriend at the time, now wife, and I went to England, visit a city called Ely, just north of Cambridge. I'm trying to remember the last thing that I drank there. Doesn't come to mind. Wheat beer with citrus spirits. That sounds nice. Sounds very nice indeed. So, Lex, what do you think makes up that willingness to act? Like, what's that? What, in your opinion, is that basic ingredient? What is it that makes? Because it's one of the problems I'm sort of most interested in, and it's because I've been on both sides of the divide. I've been someone who, for many years, didn't sort of quenched uncertainty with distraction and didn't take action on things in a direct way. Except by, logging into World of Warcraft or PlanetSide. And then now I've got enough things in order so that when I recognize a problem, I, generally speaking, find the next action pretty quickly. But I'm not sure I can name exactly what the thing within me changed in order to produce that change in behavior. I certainly, of course, there's a lot of experiences I could drag us all through, and I'm sure I have and will, but maybe this conversation is getting a little too hypothetical. Oh. What kind of uncertainties are other folks facing? Bike, Kai? Lex and I are in the middle of job uncertainty. Oh, by the way, Lex, you totally missed it on the stream last week, or maybe you caught it after. I don't know. But there's a Reddit thread about you on the PlanetSide subreddit, asking whatever became of Milsim Prodigy. Surprisingly, very, very little in there, actually. I shouldn't draw your attention to it because it won't even entertain you, really. Okay, so the ingredients for tolerating uncertainty is accepting what things are, understand what they are, aren't, and why they are not. Resolve to change it, plan and execute the strategy. Do you think you had that behavior modeled for you or taught to you at some point? I mean, you've been in your military experience, so I imagine that might figure into it. For me, I think that one of the funny challenges as someone who basically went from being a whiz kid student to a college student to a white collar, worker is that I never really had a super fantastic model for what you just described. I had to figure it out for myself in my 30s. I mean, to the extent that I have figured it out. I should check Twitch and YouTube and make sure that the streams are all looking okay. People are here, so I'm taking that as a good sign. Oh, I'm Stream manager. Okay. Twitch is live. Looking fine. Indeed. Couple follows? Oh, those are from a few days ago. Yeah, this is one vulnerability of this restream setup, is I'm not as aware of the non-chat activity as I would like to be. Viconomy, not much uncertainty. That's a good place to be. Maybe you need to push yourself a little harder. Take some risks. Lex, it just had to be cold, unemotional. Yes, you'd seen the thread. You get linked everything. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. You know, there's something very, very sad about that thread. It's almost like we put, and you in particular, put so much intention into the way you showed up in that community. It's like there should be more that goes on from it. It should have mattered more. If that makes sense. And I don't mean that as a failure of yours. I'm just, as a general thing, and this is a feeling that I've had with all the video game sort of fascinations that have beheld me. Is looking back at it, I always feel like, wow, I put so much love into that, and so little of it lasted or came back to me in any kind of powerful or meaningful way. Visiting hours, yeah, okay. YouTube's looking good too. I probably need to get like more of a stream console set up where I can see stuff. I'm also recognizing that my Twitch about is very, very out of date. Mental note to work on that before the stream next week. It's all the old same armchair psychology guys who don't watch any of your stuff and don't know absolutely anything about you personally. Yeah. People who don't give enough of a crap. I found myself writing in a newsletter article today that's going to come out, I think, in a couple of weeks. I found myself writing, sort of talking about, you know, the little addictions, tiny or otherwise, that stick around. Like for me, my big one is these guys, total Diet Coke addict. And I was reflecting that, you know, I basically kicked junk food. I don't really eat high carb food anymore. And I no longer post on Reddit. And for me, those are all about the same level of overall health impact. There's something about that thread with those posts. It's just like, it's symbolic of some kind of broader reality of that platform. I'm not really sure what I'm saying. I'm sort of fishing for it here. Probably should pull it up so folks can see it, but we're talking about a thread in the PlanetSide community on Reddit about our friend here, Milsim Prodigy. Actually, I should point over there to the chat. That's where the chat is. Ask whatever became of him. Famous curmudgeon Milsim Prodigy. Your stuff wasn't for those people anyway. You don't really care. You'll come back to talking when you feel like there's something to talk about the way you want to again. Well, I don't know if you saw this. I mean, I'm guessing you did because someone showed it to you, but I saw that Sirius recorded another interview with Rel, kind of reflecting on that era, chopping it back up. You know, Rel drops by the stream from time to time, but I don't think I've ever seen you and him here at the same time. Maybe that happened time ago, back when we were gaming. Or when I was, rather. When there's something to talk about. Yeah, the courage to, like, be not for somebody is real. It's real. I was tinkering around with my Facebook because I'm on it more than I'd like to be because I'm trying to promote myself. I have this add-on called Purity that tries to like get rid of ads and stuff. It's somewhat successful, and one of the things that it does that I don't like anymore, and I decided to turn off, is it shows you when people unfriend you. Um, and I noticed that I got a handful of people that was just like, the heck with this guy, after I started promoting myself a little bit. But I think that's good. I think that's a feature. I think if no one's against you, then no one's really for you either. I was looking over my YouTube shorts, and I noticed I got a downvote on one of my shorts. I was like, holy crap, I haven't seen a downvote on a piece of my content in forever. It's sort of like, I think it's an indicator of some kind of success. It's like, yes. Yes, someone feels that I'm wrong enough that they pressed a button, or annoyed enough. Courage to be wrong. That's the only way to find the right thing, probably, huh? Kai, that was you. You hated that short. Thank you, Kai. Thank you. You filled my heart with your downward pointed thumb. If there's no one against you, you never really stood for anything. Yeah. That's the thing that I'm trying to... I have such like a... How to describe? I think I have thought of my tendency toward kindness as... Not... Is kindness the right word? Maybe positivity is a little more reflective of what we're talking about. But positivistic attitude, the challenge becomes, how can you see the good in anything? Now, to be blandly and blindly positivistic can lead us into hell straight away. I think as long as we're not too as long as we have a little courage, I think that something about can you see the steam coming out of my ears? I'm gonna have to mull that one over a little bit. Kai asked a very simple question. What was the most controversial downvoted video? How do I find the answer to that? I'm sure that information should be somewhere. Maybe analytics? Content. All. Views, typical views, how viewers. You know what? I'm going to do what I'm increasingly doing with all questions like this. And just ask my AI tool. They can tell me how to get the answer. Astonishing how useful these AI chatbots are. How can I figure out what my most downvoted and or controversial video is on my YouTube channel? Most raw dislikes or worst like ratio. Open your channel's analytics, content, videos. Okay, advanced mode. I guess I should probably display this for everybody. That would make the most sense. Close that. Impressions, click-through rate, revenue. Look at all that revenue pouring in, baby. Oh wow! Someone hit subscribe on me on my channel after watching the anger video. That's pretty cool. Okay, how can we break down viewer age, organic and paid engagement? Here we go. Translation, end screen, card type, playback location, subtitles, viewer age. That's not exactly what I was looking for. Metrics. Here we go. This must be it. Stay to walk, to watch. Videos published, view duration. Live post, remix, clips, cards, end screens. What's... Okay. Content. Look at the likes, dislikes column for each video. Where is that? Views? Ad metrics? Dislikes. All right. All right, let's have a look. So this is showing last 28 days. Oh no. You have a Twitch bot. All right. That'll show you. Let's do... How about the most disliked video in the last year first? Then we can do all time. Lex, yours will always be serious gaming is a moron. That video has always been 50-50 down the middle for like 8 years running. Something beautiful about a down the middle controversial video like that. Everything else is like 90%. Yeah. Okay, likes versus dislikes. Can I sort this? Is there no way to sort it? Hide metric. Change in total dislikes. Okay, so this is pretty boring. I got a dislike on my Josh Foreman jumping puzzle video. Someone disliked quitting video games. Huh. Interesting. This must be Lex downvoting my Commander series hits back. This is the short that someone thumbs down on. The 2020 retrospective. Wow, that was... Oh, man. I don't even remember doing that. I don't even know what this is. Rel to Daybreak, do not hire me. Okay. Very close to EVE Online game. Okay, let's put ourselves out of our misery and just get the answer. Lifetime. Commander Series hits back is the most disliked video. Still 70% like ratio. Rel saying goodbye to PlanetSide 2. 14 dislikes. Rel versus Reddit. That was a really intense thumbnail I made for that one. 62%. 56% on other projects. ArenaNet's betrayal of Guild Wars 2 community. Yeah, okay. Definitely the serious video. #1 most controversial on the channel. Okay. I keep, whenever I see Sirius's stuff, I keep thinking and hoping that he's going to do something different. Maybe that's just because I'm doing different stuff and I moved on from Planet Side. I'm just like, come on, make content about something else. Even Kamikaze is making content in other games. I'm sure Sirius has something interesting to say about other things. Mickey Aspire, he's trying to pivot. Is he really? I haven't been paying close attention. That brings me joy to hear. Kai, you always felt like whether it was me or Lex or any other long-form Planet Side YouTuber, most people leaving dislikes never actually watched the full video. I mean, that kind of makes sense if you don't like it. If you don't like it and you're inclined enough to do something about it that you're willing to press dislike, probably your next thing is to turn the video off. But yeah, I mean, it's probably like some ad hominem stuff, or people dislike you based on like the thumbnail, or dislike you based on the like the title. They make a judgment about the content. Wow. Okay, I'm being prompted to add effects using hand gestures. Turn on reactions to express myself with hand gestures during a video call. What is this gonna do? This, can I turn something on here? I'm still getting used to using a Mac as my primary machine. Click video in the status menu, then click reactions. What's the status menu? You always just appreciated the people were making that kind of content, regardless of whether you agreed with everything they said. Yeah. And what you said is the reason I basically never hit dislike on anything, because somebody like gave enough of a shit to do it. Maybe stuff that I clearly identify as being AI based, I might hit a downvote on. Like for a little while I was listening to a lot of Alan Watts lectures, and uh and YouTube kept recommending me these fake speeches of his done with an AI voice synthesizer, uh, where it said the kind of stuff that he might have said, but it's not actually his. Falco, you're now home and can stare at my face without fear of crashing while driving. Well, I hope it was worth the drive, and I hope that I won't let you down too much. My face being what it is, you know, just using what nature gave me. Can y'all tell my shirt is pink in this light? It's probably kind of hard to tell. Welcome home, Falco. Were you coming home from work? Dislike thing is all just engagement anyway. Want to downvote, don't care for the view and engagement point. But it's true. It's true actually. It's better for someone to click downvote or dislike on something than it is for them to just leave. Really, the best thing they can do for your success on the platform is to downvote and then write a really invective comment that in some way stimulates a community response. Went to pick something up. Right on. If that I was just naked with suspenders, that's right. It's just strategically covering up my nipples. I don't know how you would explain the collar then. It is kind of close to my skin tone, though. I can see why you might say that. Man, I've been so busy this week that I've had zero time to work on this project, which I keep right here so that I remember that I have a project. Oh, you know what? Okay, I'm interrupting myself. I'm going to talk about books. We can still talk about books, but actually, the way the lighting is, you can kind of see the Seattle skyline. Kind of. Let me try dimming the lights a little bit and see if y'all can see it a little more clearly. It won't focus, I don't think, sadly. Webcam doesn't have that long of a focal point. Trying to enjoy this skyline because I'm moving away from it in 4 weeks' time. Let's see, turn the lights down. When the lights go down in the city. Yeah. There it is. You can see the Space Needle. T-Mobile Park is visible there if you squint. The Seahawks Stadium, which is rocking and rolling, also in line of sight. It's quite the view, honestly. It's the coolest thing about this place. Where's Tom Hanks' houseboat? Probably on Lake Union. You know, actually, I have a singing buddy of mine who has a houseboat, just like Tom Hanks' houseboat. His family was moved into it out of like a real, away from their real brick and mortar home because they wanted it and it was a lot cheaper, I gather. Now this is pointed in like. Turn the light back on. Kind of like the dim lights, but I feel like it's better for the stream if it's just like, ah! Oh my goodness, that's bright. Maybe we can turn it down a little bit, huh? Ooh. Ground game. What's up, buddy? I was going through old comments, and I saw that sweet note you left, reflecting on the past. It's really good to see you, man. Maybe a shade brighter. Too bright. That seems like it's pretty good. It's not too dark, is it? Doing good. Hope I'm doing good. Yeah. Yeah, I'm good, man. Life has become a serious adventure, especially in the last few weeks. Yeah, man. I'm in the middle of all kinds of fascinating and exciting change. I just lost my job a couple weeks ago. Today is the 2-week anniversary of my separation. And sold my car. I have a video coming out on Tuesday talking about my experience selling the car. And wife and I'm now married, by the way, are moving in to a new place in just a few weeks' time. And I'm here. I'm streaming again. I've decided that I've been missing doing this for a long time, and it wasn't exactly clear to me how to return. And then eventually I was like, wait a second, I could just stream and not play a video game. And somehow this never occurred to me up until like a month ago. So here we're trying it out. Congrats. Thanks, man. Thank you. Falco, Ill Seahawks. Are you I don't know. I don't even know who's playing these playoff games. I feel sort of guilty for not knowing, but not that guilty. But yeah, beautiful place. Let me see if I can find another like a cool picture of the skyline. Oh yeah. Get incredible sunrises here. You can kind of see that. Super Bowl's in your backyard. Seahawks in the Super Bowl, and the Super Bowl is in your backyard. So is the Super Bowl not in Seattle? Is it where is it? Is Seattle the visiting team? I guess that must be the case. Mickey, am I staying in Seattle? I'm staying in the greater Seattle area. So I'm in Seattle now. I have been for the last 4-ish years. Before that, I lived on the east side, and I'm moving back to the east side, um, a little north of the city, like maybe 40-minute drive. Santa Clara, Seattle is considered home. Super Bowl location's always picked like a year in advance. Oh, okay. Oh, so it's not even based on the team that's playing. It's kind of like the All-Star game in baseball, where it's like this year it's going to be in Houston or whatever. 49ers Stadium, Santa Clara. Super Bowl details. You know what? I am just so thrilled with how easily this restream thing has been working. Lex, I got you talking to me from YouTube. Everyone else talking to me from Twitch. Anyone who's looking at the video can actually see the chat. Is the chat big enough? Is it legible enough? I might need to change it so it's a little easier to read. Probably should update it. Neutral site game. Super Bowl LX. 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 That's 60? Super Bowl 60. It's got a ring to it. Kai, you can read it fine. In Santa Clara, home of the 49ers. And who's playing? Seahawks and Patriots. Ooh, East versus West. You know, I was pulling out of my place the other day, and right in front of me on my street, just pulling out was this huge, beautiful Escalade, and it had a Seahawks branded license plate with the vanity plate SEA exec. So I think I must have encountered somebody who at least thinks that they're important, whether they are or not. Falco, you're a 49ers fan, though, and the Seahawks are a divisional rival, so you absolutely hate the Super Bowl. So they're playing in your backyard, but your team didn't got eliminated. Yeah. So if you're a 49ers fan, does that also make you opposed to the Patriots? I'm so unaware of of football culture and team culture. They got eliminated in crushing fashion by the Seahawks. Oh yeah, yeah. I remember. Oh, okay. That was a couple weeks ago. I knew that. I don't know why I forgot that. I didn't mean to rub your nose in it. I truly hit football stuff. Just truly goes in one ear and out the other. Truly, truly. Yankees re-signed Cody Bellinger. Good news in the baseball world. Love that. Yay, Yankees. Anyone else with me on that? No? I think that's fine. I think that's fine. Okay, so Falco is abstaining from having it private. Probably if you had to pick, you would choose the Patriots, huh? I think I need to steer this away from Super Bowl because I know nothing about it and I have no opinions on it. Big team running back, the same squad that lost immediately last year, but missing 3 pitchers this year for the first 2 months. Good job, Cashman. Lifetime general manager Brian Cashman. You know, I'm feeling a little pleased with myself because I've detached enough of my identity from my love for the New York Yankees that whether or not they have an off season that makes any sense at all, I'm just like, okay, whatever. Like, I sort of like, I treat it like, we're shuffling up the deck and it's sort of random what appears on opening day. Falco, worst of two evils, Patriots, sure, yeah, as I suspected. Everybody in the AL East got better. Did the Jays get better? They lost Bichette, right? He signed with the Mets. I think that's what I saw. It's kind of a bummer to split up Bo and Vladdy, huh? Kai, is there such a thing as a government or fan-owned club in American sports, or is it all private owners? I suspect it's all private owners. Are any MLB or NFL teams owned by government or fans, or are they all privately owned? Kai, I'm just like an interface for an AI chatbot for you tonight. Just feed me questions. I'll feed you answers, baby. Almost all teams are privately owned. One famous exception in NFL, and none in MLB, is the Packers. Green Bay Packers are the only U.S. pro team that's truly community fan-owned. They're structured as a non-profit with hundreds of thousands of small shareholders, most of whom are fans, and no single person can own more than a small percentage. Interesting. Packers, yeah. Let's pick that up. Are they competitive with that ownership model? Has it been successful? Are the Packers actually good? By almost any measure, the Packers' community ownership model has been very successful. Historically, the team has been one of the best. They've won the most NFL championships in league history. Well, that seems like pretty good. Sounds like it's working there, Kai. Sounds like it's working. Do you guys think that any of the stream content discussion that we have would be interesting in a YouTube short? I'm thinking about whether I want to feed my clip generator the stream content. YouTube, we're talking about YouTube. Yeah. It's happening again. Kai, in Australia, it's mostly private owners too. In Korea, the local pro soccer club was owned by the government. Their success depended entirely on whether the elected politician liked soccer. It's pretty funny. I guess that means you could run on a pro soccer platform, assuming it's a democratic election. Sort of a self-reinforcing quality to that. Ugh. Well, I'm hoping by this time next week I'll have some new stream music to play. There's this YouTube channel that I've been listening to. I really love, called Universal Ambience. And they have these kind of classic paintings with ambient sounds and music that is like inspired by the painting. So chill and cool. Love the vibe of it. It might be not be upbeat enough for stream background, but play with the formula. But that's like, I guess, the main thing that's kind of happening now with all this pushing I'm doing on the content front and getting stuff out there is I'm kind of getting a lot of signal back about what works and what doesn't, and getting a lot of clarifying, like, oh, okay, this is what this is. Like, I think I've figured out that for the walk and talks, the thing that is interesting about them is the sort of personal emotional experience combined with the setting. Where and something about being out in the world makes that more grounded and makes it more effective, I think. Also, it's just easy, like literally easy for me to think and say those kinds of things when I'm out on my feet under the sky. I'm still figuring out exactly what to do with the sit down. I guess I should call them sit downs. Sit downs versus walk and talks. That might be the key distinction. Because sitting down here at my desk and talking about an emotional experience was kind of weird. Just a little weird. Storytelling may be okay. That's what I've been starting to do. Like the video from this week was a story, one about testosterone. The one next week, I just totally pivoted topics on everyone. I hope people weren't attached to talking about soccer and football. Kai goes, it does give off psychologist vibes when you're just sitting there. Oh yeah, that's a good note. Um, I'm figuring out exactly. I think that there's an opportunity for in the sit downs to give people content that is useful in some way. And then there's some quality to sitting down at a desk where it's like, okay, we're here to work. We're here to do something. And when they click the video, they should have a sense of, oh, here's what we're doing by clicking this. Here's what we're delivering or working on. And there's a question of like, I have all this experience and I have these perspectives. I'm not like a psychologist. I'm not like not even like a counselor or a coach. Although I'm thinking about potentially extending into some kind of a coaching business. Henry, you. Oh, hey, Henry. Hey, hi. You rewatched the Cameron Ridge interview today. Man, those were good. Cameron Ridge. Oh my God, Cameron. He was that sweetheart, ArenaNet developer. That was one of my favorite conversations I ever got to have as part of that podcast. Maybe the sit down. Maybe the sit downs need to be more structured. I think they do need to be more structured. Um, I think it's maybe the thing about story content that I like is it's a little more like if it reaches people, it's very resilient. It's quite evergreen. Because a story is always a story, and one that has value will continue to have value. Um, yeah, I'm still figuring out exactly. I'm gonna be probably playing around with exactly what the sit downs are like for a little while. I think we should keep doing them though. I think that there's really solid potential, and I think that's where I'm most likely to be able to offer tools and perspectives that help people implement positive change in their life, which is the thing I feel really strongly about. Acquaintances has been playing Guild Wars 2 recently, so you had the privilege to link him to some obscure Guild Wars 2 developer interviews. Oh, that's fun. That's fun. I wonder how Cameron's doing. I think I reached out to him, see if he wanted to have another conversation with me, but I didn't come back around. I know he left ArenaNet a couple years ago. Yeah, those conversations are important, aren't they, Henry? And maybe that's more the way in. Maybe trying to sit down and assert an idea or a tool is less effective than just having a conversation and allowing the the perspective or tool to exist within that, a little with a little more uh, more nature. I want to bring back the podcast in some form. I'm not sure who to talk to exactly. I mean, I'm not sure who I would talk with exactly. Some of the folks I've interviewed in the past who have kind of moved on from gaming would be an interesting choice. Like, I mean, I could always talk to Rel again. I'm sure he would. I'm pretty sure he would say yes. We could have some interesting conversations about his journey trying to be a creative after getting out of kind of corporate gaming. Talk to old millennials having their midlife crisis. Where do you know any Kai? I mean, other than me. I know some interesting folks in the barbershop world. Um, in particular, one of them is my voice teacher, and he kind of completely changed his life a few years ago, and it really fascinates me. He's a really fascinating guy. I have his book actually. Uh, he just published the Adaptive Voice Framework. You can buy it on Amazon. It's an interesting stage of life, though. People just start throwing themselves into new things. Yeah, the millennial midlife crisis is a different kind of thing than the midlife crises we all grew up with being represented in media, where typically it's like you bought. Well, okay, I was going to say you buy an expensive car, but that's exactly what I did. I bought an expensive car, sold it now, but you buy a car. That's an expression of ego. You throw yourself into a new hobby. I don't know, maybe there's something quite evergreen about it. We all desire transformation, but there's something about getting to that point in life where you reach a critical threshold of of certainty and clarity, but also resources and energy. Because past midlife, you might have more perspective and more resources, but you might not have as much energy and motivation. Um, Earlier in life, you might have more motivation and energy, but fewer resources and clarity on what it is you want. I'm still trying to clarify what I want. I actually was hanging out with a buddy of mine last night after choir rehearsal. We just hung out at his place for a few hours. I was just kind of trying to talk through what it is exactly I'm trying to do. This, the stream, all of it. I wish I could name it. I feel it. I really feel it. It's not exactly about. I think I will know I've been successful when people have been helped. But I don't think that helping people is exactly the square um, description of the thing. I guess I could just start out by going back and talking to some of the folks I really enjoyed talking to previously and just see where it goes from there. Maybe as with the stream, I'm overthinking it a little too much. Wanting to package it up a little too cleanly. Maybe the better thing is just to start. Were they a lot of work, the podcasts? Oh man. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they were a good amount of work. Um it was a lot of work sometimes contacting people and scheduling and just kind of aligning on things. Most people didn't have a lot of formality and like they mostly just showed up and talked. Like there was not a lot of preparation for them, but whenever I sat down with someone, I always put at least I don't know, I would say like 8 to 12 hours of work in ahead of time to become familiarized with their work, anything they've written, put out there, broadcast. Um try to come in with some specific kinds of questions. Um and maybe some opinions to kind of sort out. So there was about that much amount of work beforehand, and maybe a similar amount after. The work after the fact was more about um, packaging up the final product, getting it on YouTube and other platforms, writing copy, going through and breaking up the podcast into multiple sections. That was so much work. And then for the ones where I did it, going through and pulling out clips, which was extremely time consuming. How many people did I interview that weren't connected to video games? I think zero. I don't think there are any interviews that were not revolving around video games in one way or another. Some of them we veered off of video games, but they all had that common substrate. Falco, you remember you were tuning into Lancer doing a stream and Bro basically told you to hop on Discord. Oh, you mean like in terms of doing like an interview? Hmm. Well, funny you say that. I have a Discord. In fact, I was just saying hello to you in it the other day. He was doing his show pretty regularly when Outfit Wars was happening. I think the risk with any kind of a podcast conversation is when it's too unfocused. Um, I think it is. I don't know. Well, do any of y'all want to hop in Discord and chat with me? Probably going to be streaming for another 30, 40 minutes before we call it a night. Let me make sure the Discord's actually working. Okay, we don't have an audio channel. How did I have this set up before? Community, create voice, stage. Oh my goodness. You left my Discord because it was dead and full of spam bots. True. True. And I thought about what to do with it. Should I just kill it? But I'm sort of 60-40 keep it versus kill it. Falco did casted quite a bit for Connery. You wrote some of the main theme music that the Planetside Battles used for their Outfit War streams. I didn't know that, Falco. I think I knew you were a musician, but I didn't know you made that contribution. That's cool. Outfit Wars was so much fun, man. I remember looking. I did that one season where I covered it really heavily. If I were still into gaming, that might be the thing I would try to start doing. Is that kind of community competitive stuff. It's so fun. Voice, create channel. I'm just gonna call it voice. Okay. Invite to voice. See more. Okay. Well, voice channel is live on Greg's Discord. Open to any millennials going through a midlife crisis. Or who have been through one. Or maybe would like to, are curious. Like to know the merits of the midlife crisis. You know, we all roll. I think maybe there's a tendency to roll our eyes at that idea, but better to recognize and bring about a crisis than kind of let things bubble into the surface. Falco, you think Outfit Wars fulfilled a lot of people's fantasy of being involved in something competitive that would be televised, whether they were a directly competitor or they were involved in the production? Yeah. Outfit Wars was such a, I mean, it felt to me like a really loving thing that Daybreak did for the community. I might be wrong, but I don't have the feeling that Outfit Wars like meaningfully moved the needle on how successful the game was. But it did give the community a lot to chew on, and a lot of people a lot of reasons to play. I'm probably wrong. Probably it did improve the success of the game a little bit because people had motivations and reasons to develop characters and build out loadouts and that kind of stuff. Might have even damaged player numbers, to be honest. It could, yeah. That's a good point, Henry. I mean, one of the things I most remember from the conversations with the folks in it is the complete exhaustion of everyone involved. Anyone who had a hand in organizing any of the teams playing, it was just burnouts, Phil. Henry, you're still recovering. Outfit Wars is a content machine. What a beautiful machine it was, too, huh? I still have that playlist on my channel. Outfit Wars Nexus Season 1.
Like, that's not happening naturally, nor is it happening on a tactical level.
Mhm.
So I don't think that the armor game has been developed on Nexus yet. It's very much just kind of a skirmish around SATCOM, a skirmish in a choke point, and that's pretty much
Man,
it.
isn't it crazy how different I
You
look?
think that that's mainly because of the state of the map, not because of the state of the people playing on it?
Yeah, it's the state of the map because SATCOM is on a rise. There's 2 defilade points on the north and the south, and there's a choke to the middle.
It's crazy. My favorite, like, personal, like, little personal fart to sniff about this experience is the start of match experience that I worked on to make the beginning feel dramatic. Here, let me play this. It's probably gonna be far too loud.
Let's go. Steel rains from both outfits being summoned over Granite Head Reactor
Hear the
as the
music in the
game
background.
begins. PlanetSide 2 Emerald Server Grand Finals. Recursion versus Gobs.
So cool. So it's glorious.
Recursion holds the point, and Gobs have fallen back towards the spawn room. Recursion flipping both the B and C points already. The Gobs on their back foot here at Granite Head. Low graphics is cheating. For Gobs is trying to roll a Sunderer over, and it's going to struggle over to the east side of the base. Recursion giving chase. Disenfranchised and Wazbot.
I got
and his
totally
lightning
duped on this, I
Telesto and his
remember.
ant. That Sunderer does go down.
100 messages. Bucko commentating for Outfit Wars was so
Recursion
fun.
with an early advantage here.
Tried to
Granite
approach it
Head
like being a
Reactor. The Goblin
WWE
armor is rolling in from
commentator.
Arzek SATCOM hub.
So much opportunity for drama. It's
But
like
Recursion is
it's
not
pure
allowing
PlanetSide.
it.
It's like a very focused PlanetSide experience. The
Here come the
idea for
Gobs.
this
They're
game is
dropping
still
on
so
the triple
beautiful in my
stack.
mind and in my heart.
No Max is
If
just
if I
soft
were
infantry.
gaming, I would almost certainly be playing
Multiple
PlanetSide
Maxes
still.
lined up for Recursion here on the point.
The drums.
Here comes the Gobs Vanguard rolling in. The Gobs have got a Sunderer, a Panic Sunderer set back near the spawn room, trying to get something
Oh,
going.
Kai, you're in
That's
voice.
a
Let's
long ass
go.
run.
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
Oh, I heard you. Hang on a second. Let me make sure that this is all cooking up. Kai, can you hear me all right? I want to mute the stream. I think I just heard you for a second. Now I don't hear you.
What about now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Is it loud enough?
I think so. Stream, is he loud enough?
Okay.
Sounds loud enough to me. Levels seem good. Kai, have we ever spoken like voice to voice before?
Did you hear me?
No.
Oh, okay. I said we have spoken when we played PlanetSide together.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But we never had a conversation outside of the game.
That's what I'm asking myself. Yeah, I don't think we have yet. I haven't had the pleasure of enjoying your accent as much as I would like to. Seriously. So what's good, man?
Well, it's very hot here at the moment.
Very hot.
Yeah, we're in
How-
the middle of a heat wave.
Okay. How hot does it get? You're gonna give me a Celsius number that I can't understand, right?
Hottest. Oh,
That's
I
okay. I
can't give you
can.
Celsius. So.
I'll do the math. Lay it on me.
Okay. I think the hottest where I am, it was 43.
That seems really hot.
So it's been 43 like maybe 3 days.
That's like 110
be
degrees
41 today.
Fahrenheit. Is that like a normal thing?
Yeah, we normally get days like that in summer.
Okay.
But
And
the-
what do you
the-
do when it gets that hot? Is it a pretty well air conditioned like society there down there?
Unfortunately not for some people.
Okay.
Like people who live in like old rentals in particular with like shitty landlords that don't put in air conditioning and stuff or don't have insulation, they get fucked in the summer.
What about you?
Well, our apartment, well, it's like a flat kind of, but when we moved in, we had no insulation in the roof and no air conditioning upstairs.
Word.
So the first few summers were pretty bad, but we do now.
Yeah. I remember there being when I was living on the east side a few years ago, we had that one summer where there was all this smoke, and we had a few days that were as hot as it is as hot as where it is for you right now. I remember we had a 2-bedroom apartment with 3 portable air conditioners, and it was in a top floor corner unit, completely not up to the task of cooling the space. Blinds drawn all day, 3 different air conditioners blown at max. The one in the living room, I remember it read 91 degrees on the ambient room temperature. Probably kind of dangerous in hindsight.
I kind of love that though, like sitting in the dark in the air conditioning in summer.
Yeah,
It's like it always feels nostalgic to me because that's like my childhood.
sitting in the dark.
Yeah, like watching cricket on TV and like,
Uh,
with the blinds drawn and the air conditioner or the fan.
Oh yeah, it's good stuff. For me, it's that, but like sitting in front of a video game.
And then like when it cools down a bit in the evening, like head down to the beach.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right on. So it's midday for you. You're in the middle of the hottest part of the day.
It usually gets hotter around like 3 p.m.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That tracks with what I've experienced. I remember when we had that heat wave, because it was so novel. I was like, okay, I really want to experience this. So I actually took myself out into the street, in the full sun, and just like put my arms out like this, and I was like, I want to feel it. It was, when you choose to experience a thing, it's less uncomfortable. Chris Bergen, what's up? Recognizing now that we're talking and the chat is still going, that I need to figure out a mic mute situation so I can have 2 conversations at once. Well, Kai, what motivated you to jump in, man? Give us something to talk about. Some issue, something that's on your mind. Some weighty topic. And if you're speaking, I cannot hear you.
Yeah, honestly, I can't really I didn't really jump in voice with like a specific thing to talk about.
Right on. Well,
It's just because you asked and no one did it, so then I was like, oh, someone has to be the first one.
Aw. Well, it's appreciated, brother. Well, let's think of something. So, okay, are you a lifelong Aussie, Kai? You said you spent some time in Korea, right?
Oh yeah. It's my partner's Korean, so
Cool.
I've been over there for some
Cool.
longer holidays.
Okay. Okay. Cool. And do you get to experience a lot of Korean culture by virtue of that partnership?
Um, sort of, but she was born in Australia,
Okay. Okay.
and she did all of high school in Australia,
Okay.
and now she's lived with me in Australia for like
Got it. But she
12
probably
years.
has
Yeah.
family back in Korea who she tries to get back and
Yeah.
see.
Well, we actually haven't been back since COVID.
Okay. 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 So,
We have a little dog now, so
last time you were there was pre-COVID. I'm curious though, because I've never been. What was your impression of Korea while you were there? Maybe something about it that surprised you. Lex says Korea never going back.
well, I definitely didn't have a negative experience.
That's all? Didn't have a negative experience?
Well, I'm just trying to think, like, what is a takeaway from being there? I mean, like, I'm from Adelaide, which is like quite a small city in Australia.
Uh-huh.
And where we were living in Korea was in Seongnam, which is like kind of a sister city of Seoul, like satellite city.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just like so busy, like there's so many people everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like when we went into actual Seoul, it was like crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I think when it comes to traveling, there's like a couple of like this is something I've been figuring out with my wife too. Is like so much of the travel we've done have been about either going and being with family or going and participating in some kind of like an event. And what we find is like when we go have those experiences, we go to a really busy place or go to visit family. It's like yes, we're getting away from our normal life, but there's something we don't really get to vacation, relax in the way that sometimes we think about vacationing. So, um, yeah, sounds like it was a busy time. Great food, too many people. Like summing it up.
But yeah, what I enjoyed about it was like um, we didn't really do too much tourist stuff.
That's good.
So I got like a really kind of like everyday lifestyle, and I wasn't living in like I was like where we were living was kind of like a working class area as well. It wasn't like glitzy city or anything.
That's nice.
So I was like the only I was like the only there was like one other guy in the city where I was living that was like non-Korean. I think he's from like maybe I don't know, like Uzbekistan or Tajikistan, something like that.
So you had a really like kind of grounded,
So it was actually
non-touristy
like a
kind
cult.
of. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was like a culture shock for me, like the first week or something, because like I was the only white guy, and
Uh
I've
huh.
grown up in a place where it's like most people are white,
Yeah.
and so I just felt like everyone was looking at me like constantly the first week, and then I just got used to it. But
You get used to the attention, or did the attention fade, or maybe is that the same thing?
I think it was both, but I think partly it was just like a psychological thing of like I felt like people were looking at me.
Uh huh. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. You go from being the insider to the outsider. What were the Korean people like? What's your take on them? I had a conversation with a gentleman at the phone store, the T-Mobile store recently, and it's a funny, weird conversation. We sit down. He's like, "Oh, you don't sound like you're from here." I'm like, "No, no, I'm not from here." And he says, "Are you from New England?" I was like, "Yes." And then he's like, "Hmm, either Pennsylvania or Connecticut, I think." And I was like, "Yeah." He guessed where I was from, just based on like a couple of interactions. He also guessed where my wife was from, and then we got to talking. And he's been traveling around, living in a bunch of the major cities in the U.S.: Chicago, New York, I think Atlanta too. And his comment is that Seattle is the worst city he's ever been to and lived in because the people are so cold. and awful. So I
So
kind of launched into
are
streamer
there like
story there. But what was your take on the Korean folks while you were there? What were they like?
well, everyone was really nice and
Mm-hmm.
welcoming and stuff from what I saw.
Nice and welcoming. In any surprising kind of ways?
Yeah, I think like Korea, I think the population is like in the 60 million, something like that.
Uh-huh.
And most of them live in the northern part, like around Seoul
Mm-hmm.
area. And so I guess I felt like it would be more kind of like cold and big city kind of vibe than it actually was.
Hmm.
But yeah, I just got this like vibe that like Koreans have like very strong kind of like strong like national spirit kind of,
Huh.
and like a kind of similar to Australians in a way, but it's like in Australia it's like this underdog kind of thing, but it's like you know, like a combative kind of way. But Koreans, it's more just like uh they're like resilient. It's not necessarily about fighting, it's more just like not giving up.
Endurance.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Okay.
I wonder if that's like something to do with like all the shit that the country's been through, like hundreds of years, whatever.
No doubt.
Getting invaded by China and like getting invaded by Japan.
National identity. Yeah.
But is I was gonna ask, like in the US,
Yeah.
do big cities have like different kind of like the people that grow up there, do they have different kind of like stereotypical characteristics?
I think that's basically true anywhere you go. The cities tend to iron people out a little bit. Tend to make everyone in it a city person for the most part. It's been my experience. I've lived here in Seattle for a bunch of years. I guess haven't lived in other big cities, but I visited them. Yeah, I think that the city tends to conform people to a certain uh when you spend your time living in a high density around a lot of other people who are all in the place you are for some purpose driven reason, like pursuing culture or pursuing career, um, it has an effect where everyone becomes like everyone else. Whereas in the places outside the cities, like where my folks live in New England now, the more spread out people are, the more people get to be weird and different and interesting. I love that. Um, if you go to Boston, you'll hear people say "park the car." If you go to Atlanta, you'll hear people say "y'all come back now." Um, all that said, though, I think there are differences. Whenever I would go visit an airport, I would notice there's a different vibe. Actually, one of the strongest senses I had of that was when I was traveling for work, going through Tallahassee, and then where was it that I was routing through that was so jumped out at me? Atlanta felt different. Tallahassee felt really kind of like everyone walked around with like really big boots. Like you could just feel that generally the size of everyone's ego was just proportionally larger. And when I got back to Seattle, I noticed the inverse, where folks here, especially in the airport, are generally speaking, they're trying to be smaller than the size of their bodies. They're trying to not be noticed, not be included, not be activated. Whereas Tallahassee, and I also noticed that in Texas when I flew through Dallas Fort Worth, people are kind of like, they're a little bigger. They're a little bigger.
When you go for a walk like around your local area,
Yeah.
would you say hello to someone when you're walking past?
Yeah. Not.
Okay,
I mean,
so
it's not usually a conversation, but generally speaking, I always say hello, or nice
okay,
day, or
yeah.
cool dog.
So it's not like, is it like not super busy then?
The place
I
where
feel like
I
you
live
can't
in
do that
is
in the inner city.
Yeah, I mean, I'm outside like the downtown area. I'm in one of the neighborhoods in North Seattle. So it's like it's it's consistent, but it's not like a ton of people. Mostly
Okay.
people out walking their dogs. It's a relatively high cost of living area, so nice houses and stuff. It's part of the reason I'm moving because it's a little expensive. Um, but I I think here in this neighborhood, people are a little more likely to say hello to you than other parts of the city. Uh, and I
Okay.
think it's because it's a little more high cost of living, fewer people, people are a little more spread out compared to other places.
That's something that I like though. Like you get this kind of you get this kind of feeling of like you're being included in like a community, even if you don't have any kind
Yeah,
of deep connection with any other people.
yeah,
But it's just nice to like I've been living where I am now like 4 years, I think.
uh huh,
And like I've been seeing the same people for years, and we'll have a little chat or just say hello on a walk.
yeah.
And even like the local shops, like I know the people that have been working there for a few years, stuff like that.
There's something really, really wonderful about the mundane intimacy of just bumping into people in their work or are on the corner walking their dog. Um, Even just for a small slice, and you see each other over time, and yeah, it gives a sense that you're part of something bigger, even if it's not um, a hugely intentional thing. I also love that feeling, and that's why like whenever I always talk up waiters, I always talk up checkers, cashiers. Most of the time, is not much that comes out of it, but sometimes people are just ready to talk. They have something on their mind or on their heart, and yeah, I've been thinking like because I've been reading this sort of depressing book against the machine. This guy kind of railing against the technologic portions of our society, kind of pressuring us all into being cogs and wheels. And I've been thinking about like what it is that actually opposes that tendency. And I think it's a choice that even when we're even when we're caught up in a system or forces that are larger than us and we're not entirely our own um, we're not entirely driving our own action to just make the choice to just connect with people, be real, share something, be a little vulnerable. um, I think it's a choice we get to make.
Yeah. I used to work at like it was a long time ago now, but I used to work as like a overnight at a petrol station.
Uh-huh.
And in my city, kind of especially back then, petrol stations were like the equivalents of a convenience store as well,
Got it. So you bump into a
like
lot of
open
characters
24/7.
probably.
Yeah, so I wouldn't have many customers over because I used to work like midnight to like 7 a.m. or something
Yeah.
like that. But it was consistently the same people throughout the week that always come in at similar times. And I just got this like strange feeling. It's like for me, this is just like some shitty job that I'm just working temporarily. It's not really important.
Hmm.
But for these people, it's like they come in and they want to have a conversation, and like coming in and talking to me is actually like kind of an important part of their routine.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you might be some of the only human contact a lot of those folks are getting.
Yeah. Like the guys that come in at like 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. and buy like some chocolate bars or something
Secret middle of the night club. I
and
love that,
and
Henry.
want to have a chat.
Yeah, chocolate in a chat. It comes out the sides of folks, right? People sometimes put themselves into, especially situations with people who are working service jobs like that, like what you're describing, like what you did at the petrol station, because they just we're craving human contact, craving it, man. That's why I think that's why I turned the stream on for the first time all those years ago.
Yeah. That's what I was sort of thinking about, like you returning to streaming. It's like
Uh huh.
maybe you kind of um, missing that feeling of community that you could get from this kind of thing.
Well, it's
of having like it's not necessarily like um close. It's not like best friends or anything like that. It's not the same as like friends in your real life, but it's like having that kind of having that connection. Shit, my mic's yeah, having that connection with people, like just like human to human, like not necessarily over a specific thing.
have you ever noticed how sometimes when you're it's a lot easier to say something really emotionally vulnerable when you're on a phone call compared to when you're in the room with somebody?
No, actually, because I don't really like phone calls.
Okay, well, that didn't go where I was
I
hoping it
actually
was gonna
don't.
go.
I actually don't like talking to people not face to face.
Ah, it's not to your taste. I've become more that way too. Um, but I don't know. I think there's a certain intimacy of anonymity that can foster and grow something that is low pressure and valuable in spaces like these. Um, like I don't know you and Henry and Lex the way that I know like my singing buddies, but I do know you too. And when each of you come and show up on the stream, whether we're talking like this or in the chat, like the stream is different because you're here. Um, but in terms of your original question about me coming back to streaming, like the what maybe was behind it. Um, the reason that I stopped gaming and streaming with it a couple years ago was because I found other community. I found IRL
Yeah,
community. And
yeah.
my experience of that is like, wow, this is what I've been trying to get out of online community for the last 15 years. And it's right here. One of the things that made it really beautiful, it was using a skill I already had, which was singing. So um, I got to go do something I loved and do it in community with people directly. And have been all in on doing that. And it's been a huge part of my life for these 3 years. Next month will be the third year I've been doing it. Um,
Oh, are you still doing the singing?
yeah, it's no less a part of my life than it was than it has been over the last 3 years. I think
Okay, so you did you leave? But you left your previous quartet, right?
oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I can give you
But you've
my
got another group.
barbershop history if you.
Okay.
I'll definitely fill up the end of the stream, but to get to round off that idea about coming back, and then I can fill you in on some of those details. Is uh, the reason that I came back was not because it was less because I was trying to satisfy a need, and more because I have a sense that it's this showing up on the stream like this is connected not to a personal need, but to a mission that I feel drawn towards. And I mean, I'm blessed to have a Twitch channel with however many followers and a YouTube channel with however many subscribers, um, and people who are interested in having conversations like these and showing up to things like these. And I think that the conversations we have here can more directly revolve around some of the big problems that we're civilizationally growing through as people um, right now, and are the problems that I had to figure out for myself over the last few years. And I I think there's good in it, and I decided to prioritize that good. I did miss it too, but I didn't come back because I missed it. I came back because I felt it was the right thing to do for what I feel
Hmm.
called forth to be doing while I'm here on Earth. Um,
Do you think like because obviously you started around the same time that you suddenly had a lot of free time.
mm.
Do you think when things get busy again, like you're working again, do you think that will change, or you think you'll still have the same kind of
Oh, it'll
drive?
it'll keep adjusting. the whole time. Um, if it's the right thing, I'm gonna keep the thread going in one way or another. It just depends on how. And it
Mm.
sort of depends on the circumstances. So, like, big driving factors would be how long am I between jobs when I find the next, salary paying job? Am I full time in the office? Am I hybrid? Am I remote? I'm looking for something hybrid because I miss being in the room with people, but I also like some flexibility.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that like pans out. But I'm because I'm showing up here because it's the right thing and not because I'm satisfying a need. Um, Getting busy should not as directly affect that for me, I don't think. Um, and if the stream, I mean, this has already been way more successful and engaging and interesting than I hoped it was going to be. I thought I would maybe have to do this for a month before anyone really started showing up again. I've been really humbled that y'all remembered me, and like after these years, just like you know, you ever like have those friends where you can kind of go away and go into life and not see each other for months or years, and you come back and it's like you picked up where you left off a little bit. It's a little
Yeah,
bit
well,
like that
actually,
feeling.
yeah, I had a couple of work friends that I worked with like a few years ago. And we initially, when we all quit working there, we were kind of keeping in contact for like a few months after, and
Hmm.
then we just lost contact for like years. And then last year, um, I kind of decided to reach out again because I really miss those two guys. And then
Yeah.
yeah, like it was crazy. Like I thought it would be so weird to kind of like try and reconnect with these people that I
Hmm.
haven't seen for ages, but it was like straight away we're just back to like the same old like work buddy kind of
Yeah, just
like
like bullshitting and
vibe.
having a
Yeah.
good time.
Yeah. So we catch up like every couple of months now for lunch.
That's good stuff, man. That's real human stuff you're engaging with.
And it's nice having like some friends that are not from school or not
Hmm.
from like sport or like they're just kind of like random people that I ended up working with for a bit.
Hmm. Well, that's that you never know how someone's going to come into your life or go away from it. Um, so it's sometimes it's those small tiny connections that end up being the strongest or most interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful, man. Hope you keep watering that. What is it that y'all do when you meet up? Do you revolve around something? You just go get drinks? What or what's that look like? Give us a model to follow.
Well, we all worked as baristas at the same cafe. So um, like initially we were doing like cafe kind of things.
Yeah,
I think it's like a common barista, like people that have worked in coffee, they like to go and try other coffee places.
that makes sense. It's like a shared interest. It's like talking
Yeah,
about TTKs and Planetside.
but these days we just do normally lunch, and we kind of try to find lunch stuff that's like a bit longer so we can chat more. We're actually gonna invite them over to our house for the next one.
Nice. Have they been to your place before?
No, they haven't, and this was something that we originally planned like way back years ago when we were still in contact originally, and then like we lost contact and it never happened.
Hmm.
So yeah, it would be nice to invite them over finally.
Yeah, cool. That's the good stuff. Um, and yeah, because like we all, I think one of the things we've pretty much all experienced, right, is how easy it was to have really great friends in school because you're just shoved into this massive shared context where you spend all this time together doing similar things and working on similar problems. When you put yourself in a room with people who are doing similar things on similar problems for an extended period of time, that's what makes the connection. That's what develops it. Um,
Yeah, I definitely think like hospitality often is like kind of a it's like you bond over your shared I don't know, despair of working in like a shitty low paid job and getting treated like shit by people.
mhm. Trading war stories.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Because like it's kind of like you and your co-workers against the world, basically.
yeah.
That's the kind of vibe you get. Because we worked at like an international airport, so you got a shitload of
Oh
customers. Really,
shit.
so right, so
Front
it's us
lines.
three versus like all these people, and like we just naturally kind of bonded because of that. I think.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Well, let me think. We were a few minutes ago. We had a conversational thread about sort of the reason I left streaming and gaming was because I found something that, for me, satisfied what I wanted more directly. The reason I'm coming back is for a different reason. But what role does that singing hobby now have in my life is sort of, I think, a question you were starting to ask. Is that right?
Yeah, because I don't know, maybe I misunderstood, but I thought like your singing was based around the group that you're in, and then you left that group, and then I kind of got the feeling like you weren't doing as much singing as you had
Yeah.
been.
Yeah. So while I was in that group, that was what got my primary musical focus because it was like my thing. I kind of had my most identity in it. I created it, or I helped create it, and it was only four of us, so each of us had a quarter stake in what we were doing. But the whole time before that I was doing that, and for about 6 months before, and for the time since, I've been continuously being simply a choir member in a chorus that does the same kind of music, barbershop music. So that's like it can be a much more passive way to participate. Like really, generally I can get away with just showing up to rehearsal and learning the music on the spot because I'm thankfully quick enough that I can just make that work. Uh, so it gets less thought and focus because I didn't have to pour as much of my intention and energy into making it go. And that's like a thing I can just go to. And that's what I've done the last couple nights. I have a Tuesday night group, and this year I've added back on a Wednesday night group. So it's two separate choruses. The Wednesday night chorus is actually going to be traveling to St. Louis in July for an international competition that we're going to be a part of. So that's pretty exciting and fun. Henry, you got your fingers crossed for the Shoe Body Bop cover. Y'all, I listened to that on loop for like an hour after the stream.
Oh no.
It wormed its way deep. And I actually was just watching it when I was getting pumped up to turn the stream on. I
Did
have
you have
some
nightmares
thoughts.
about those videos?
I didn't. I think I watched like the four body whatever. There's a bunch more, but I probably should peruse them. But that one video, there's something really powerful about the music and the weird animation and the
Yeah.
bizarre like when we were doing that on the Christian liturgical calendar, it was like the feast of Saint John the Baptist, the guy who famously baptized Jesus in the Bible, and
Yeah.
like that's there's some funny analogs to that story in that video. Um, it kind of blew my mind a little bit, and there's like a vaguely like I don't know gospel feel to it. But yeah, so to undistract myself from Shoe Body Bop, which I'm sure will redistract us again sometime soon. Uh, I've been doing the singing in a barbershop choir of one kind or another this whole time. Um, and I'm currently looking for my next quartet. I actually just started reaching out to a few people to see if they'd be interested in starting a new quartet with me. Um, and generally, my involvement in barbershop has become more intentional and mission focused over these 3 years, where I've gone from like I'm just showing up because I want to sing and have fun to I put my hand up to participate in the board, and I served as the board president for one of the organizations for a couple years. I just
Okay.
concluded that at the end of last year, so just a month ago. And during that time, the group like rebranded and changed its name and made some whole bunch of changes, and I restructured our board of directors and like started working on new fundraising sources. So that's all stuff that I'm like doing, and I'm starting to dig into like the business of community arts, which is really really cool and fun. I love how music is a need that everyone has, and communities need that everyone has, and the ability to kind of really dig in and be like a guild master, but for a barbershop chorus. Uh,
Yeah.
and But yeah, I've definitely begun to feel the limits of some of the connections that form even in an IRL scenario when there's some people, and one in particular person who they're really cool and really interesting people. Um, but despite the fact that we have this shared interest over time, we just kind of haven't gotten closer because the thing that happens is when you're together for singing, everything is about the singing, and you don't
Yeah.
often make inroads into other parts of your life. Um, and just like a video game, barbershop music is kind of like all consuming. Like you can spend like 80 hours a week becoming a better barbershop singer, singing in multiple
Yeah.
groups, networking, doing the kind of back end business board of directors stuff easy. And there are people who retire from working a job and do exactly that. Um, but it doesn't mean that you become closer as individuals. And so I'm kind of at a good time where I'm sort of um, taking a step back from that role as president. I'm picking a few projects to work on and trying to figure out the next quartet. When the next quartet comes into being, it's going to be much more of an energy focus of my time. But yeah, I guess I don't have my thoughts together as clearly on that as I thought I did. But I'm still doing it. But when I found it, it was like salvific, man. It was revelatory. It was like I needed to see myself being seen in the real world. I needed to feel
Yeah.
myself be in the room with people and be accepted. And actually, I continued that experience when I went and started dancing because the kind of community dancing I was doing, there's a lot of you're asking someone to dance with you, and you're dancing with each other, and you're swinging each other around, you're touching bodies, and there's something about that physical connection with people when you're dancing that is another kind of connection and another kind of acceptance of connection that can happen. And all those things help help fill up really drained places in my soul, I think. Um, but yeah, now I've gone from thinking more about how can I get what I need to thinking about how can I give what's needed. And that's why I'm here. I do love it though. You
Do
wanted
you?
the
I was gonna. I
1,000 word
was gonna
answer,
ask.
right? Sorry, go on.
Do you get some of this stuff? Sorry, I'm not actually sure, but do you go to church regularly?
As much as I can. Yeah. I
So do you,
started,
do you get that kind of vibe from your church community?
I think if I spent enough time going there, I would. The church that I'm going to now, I've only been going to since the summer, because I just moved here a year ago, um, and I think it's possible too. The thing
Mm,
about church communities is they often can be, uh, it's oftentimes hard to find people who are in similar stages of life as I am, which makes connection more
you mean like there's
difficult.
a lot of oldies?
Yeah, yeah, and there are people I can look up to and learn from, like mentor types,
Yeah,
and I'm leaning into that. But and there are folks who are younger than me too, who are just kind of starting their adult life out and figuring things out. But most of the people who are near my age and look a little bit like me are busy making their careers work, making their families work, and just culturally, church is not like millennials don't love going to church. Um,
yeah. I think that's like one of the things I find interesting about it though, is like one of the few places where you can go and meet people regularly that are outside of like who you would normally interact with.
Yeah, and also in a way where it doesn't revolve around interests. It's
Yeah,
about it's about
not
shared
really, yeah.
values primarily, right?
And it's also it's like everyone's automatically accepting of each other in a
Yeah.
church kind of context. Yeah, it's a pretty interesting. Like I grew up in an Anglican church, but I don't go to church anymore. But yeah, I do kind of find I've always found that aspect of it like really interesting.
Me too, man. I have too. Yeah, it's that's a big part of I started going back to church 2 years ago. And originally I was going back because I was looking to continue scratching the singing itch. And I knew if I went to a Lutheran church, I would just be able to sing in the congregation and have a good time doing it. Um, and I thought that was where it was going to end for me. But then the thing that happened was I got back into church. I came back as a different person than I left the church 2 decades prior. And in a way that so many things that were going on in church either alienated or confused me as a teenager coming back to it at the stage of life I was in a couple years ago. All of a sudden, like, it just felt everything that was being shared, the liturgy, all of it, it suddenly started making sense to me and reaching into me. And that called me forth to be more to get involved in the community. And since then I've moved like twice, so it's been hard to stay connected to a community. But yeah, man, I feel that too, brother. There's something really special that goes on in a place like that.
When you went to church, like when you were younger, like as a kid
Yeah.
or a teenager, did you kind of participate in like kind of the main adult stuff, or did you get sent off to like a kind of kids Sunday school
Oh, definitely
thing
the
while
latter.
the adults? Oh, okay, interesting.
I think that's part of
It's like
why I never hooked with it, because like I got religion for children.
yeah, okay. Because I like
What was your experience?
well, mine was the opposite. Like I was always just went to the main kind of service. And I think one time I went off, they were like, "Oh, do you want to see what the kids thing is like?" And I went there and they're like doing like coloring in and shit. I was like, "What the fuck?"
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I would go to like the main service where there are all the adults, but like all the sort of structural and contextual elements around like the Sunday school, the stuff outside the service itself. Um, I I don't think for most people, especially teenagers, you can lean on just showing up to church services in order to understand what's going on and make it relevant and useful and uh, not useful, but meaningful in your life. I think it depends upon some outside work to come into it and make sense of it. At least it probably depends on the church. Probably some churches are more reaching into folks' everyday on the ground lives. Yeah, that's an interesting topic. I want to revisit that. But right now it's about time for me to wrap things up for the night.
It's bedtime for Greg.
Yes, it very much is. Yeah, time to say hello to my wife and gratefully get horizontal. Thank you, Kai. This is a real treat.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, you should do this next time. Like get someone else on.
I think I want to repeat this. Yeah.
Yeah, get Henry on.
Thanks for being the guinea pig. All right, I'm gonna log off the Discord and then go ahead and wrap up the stream.
All right, cool. See ya.
Thanks, brother. God bless. Henry, you have a thick accent. Oh, I can't wait to hear it. Next time, man. No pressure, though. There's no pressure to anyone who doesn't feel comfortable doing it. It's just the door is open and it's warm inside. Yeah, this is good. I think my wife actually came home with groceries, so I'm gonna make sure that she's not doing all that herself. I'm gonna go figure that out. But more content coming next week. I would love y'all's feedback as you get plugged into what I'm doing outside the stream about the short form content that I'm doing and how good or bad or annoying you think it is. It's kind of new for me, so I'd love to hear what you think. But mainly just go have a great week. Enjoy your weekends. Don't forget to make some time for quiet. Rest within yourself a little bit if you can. I promise I will try to. And yeah, we'll turn this thing around in a week's time. Thanks again to Kai for hopping on, and thanks to y'all for visiting. That's going to be it for me. Greg Olzerowitz signing off for the night. Good night, friends.